Hi, I'm Yvonne Prant, and I'd like to talk about strategic summer communications, how to have fun and introduce people to Jesus and grow them as disciples. Summer is a great time to have fun, but as with every holiday or special event, we can do so much more. One of the core teachings of effective church communications is to remind you that holidays and special events are key times to both grow your church in numbers and your people in spiritual maturity. That's what distinguishes how we have fun in the summer, how our churches have fun, from other really worthwhile places. Now, a quick review on how to do this. You want to communicate with your target audience. You want to invite them to the event. You want to get them there, but you want to give them communications not only before the event, like I just mentioned, but during and after the event. During your summer events, when you're at church, you want to let them know really what's going on, what your church is about. And it's vitally important that you follow up afterwards so that they didn't just have a fun time, but to really connect them to the church. And you want to encourage all of your congregation to be involved. That's how they can grow in their discipleship and in their faith. There is so much more on how to do this in my book, Successful Seasonal Strategies, and it's available on the Effective Church Communications Library. Gives you the tools, everything you need to know on how to do that. But let's get very practical back to summer communications. Now, to help you make the most of summer, I'm going to go over this now, but again, all of what I'm telling you and much more is in this ebook that I put together, Strategic Summer Communications. What I'm doing is I'm taking a lot of my past articles, strategy, things like that from the Effective Church Communications website and putting them into ebooks so everything is easy for you to access. I'm going to give you some of the tips from it in a minute, but the ebook also, in addition to having articles and how-tos and strategy, has previews of all of the free templates that are available for you. So go to the Effective Church Communications Library. I have the link to it in the description of the video and at the end of this, and just download it and you can quickly just whip right through it and just get all kinds of great information. But let me now start out with some strategy for you, what I talk about in the communications. The ebook reminds you that for the visitors you get this summer, you want to be really careful of your jargon. Well, I know you're kind of thinking, well, of course I'm going to be careful. I'm not going to talk about sanctification and justification and propitiation when I talk to summer visitors. Well, maybe not. But if you don't clearly and fully explain what's going on in your church, I call that jargon by omission, they will be just as confused as they would be if you didn't use big theological words. For example, if you say something like, "The pie social will be just like last year's. Plan on coming." But if you don't give the times, the locations, if people are supposed to bring a pie or come and enjoy pies, if the event is free or if you charge by the slice or whatever it is, if you just assume everybody knows about it, that's jargon by omission. It can not only be confusing, but it's really unkind to a visitor who might be checking out your church this summer. Maybe they're thinking about moving there, maybe they live in the neighborhood, but they thought, oh, summer will be a little less threatening time to check it out. But if you do something like that and you don't explain it to people, chances are they're not going to be interested in returning. Be sure, once people do stick around for the event, that you connect with the people that come. Now, don't assume, and this I find is one of the biggest mistakes people make on special events, no matter what time of the year it is. Don't assume that just because people come to your event and like what you do and have a great time, that they will come back the following weekend and bring their kids to your church. Most people, most visitors to special events have no idea what churches do on a regular basis. You need to specifically invite them back. Getting them to fill out a sign-in card is a great way to get their information so that you can follow up on social media, through the mail, however would work for you. Now, you might say, well, that sounds real good, but how do I get people to fill out the cards? Well, I have the best system. Here's how to get guests to fill out the cards. Have a big gift basket filled with goodies related to the event. Barbecue sauces and tools work really well for the summer. Fruits, foods, chocolates, that's always great. Just have people sign up for a drawing to get this. We've done this many times in our ministries, and people absolutely love it. I must admit, I would probably go a little bit crazy sometimes putting together these big old baskets. I'd usually have, say, 3 of them, and that way people knew they had more than one chance. People weren't forced to sign up, but people see a big basket of goodies, and they always do, and it's a great way to follow up with people. I had one lady from Canada tell me that they always put on this big barbecue in the summertime at their church, and she said, we just didn't get hardly any follow-up. She said, I did your idea where we had our barbecue, and we did this huge gift basket of barbecue sauces and barbecue tools and all that. She said, we got all kinds of contact information from people, followed up, and she said for the first time in many years we actually had numerous new people attending the church because of our outreach, because we reached back to them, specifically invited them, told them what was going on at the church. So I encourage you greatly to do that. Then you can also give them cards like this when they leave. I have on the website all of these things. They're free templates. You can download them. You can modify them. You can do whatever you want to with them. And you could you could either just give out a little business card like this, or you can make up goodie bags. You can attach them to something like a candy bar, or, a lot of churches today have their own merch. They've got mugs and cups and all that kind of stuff. Whatever you want to do, put in a card like this, thanks for coming, and then on the back of it, have your social media, your website, whatever. You can add treats and whatever kind of goodie bags you want, but give them something as they leave. And also, I strongly, strongly encourage you, give away a gospel tract. Now, I know some of you watching this might not even know what a gospel tract is. They're those little pamphlets. They're kind of funky and old-fashioned, but they tell you how to become a Christian. There will be many people in heaven because of these funny little pamphlets. You never know why people are coming to your church for that special event, or where they are on the road to eternity. Charles Spurgeon, many years ago, this is a quote from him. He was one of the greatest preachers of all time. You can read his sermons, and he wrote a lot, and just a phenomenal individual. But anyway, this is what he had to say about gospel tracts. He said, let each one of us, if we have done nothing for Christ, begin to do something now. The distribution of tracts is the first thing. When preaching and private talk are not available, you need to have a tract handy. A touching gospel tract may be the seed of eternal life. Therefore, do not go out without your tracts. Isn't that great? You can order them in bulk online. There are many sources. Just Google gospel tracts online, and there'll be lots and lots of sources. But I encourage you, get them, give them out at your events, spread them around. You never know how the Lord can use them. And there's so much more in the ebook on additional resources for you. There are articles about why I don't think you should charge for events. There's examples of postcards to remind people just basically to come to church in the summer. These are just 2 of many that I have for you. Life a little dry here. I've got a cactus in the desert. Life a little dry? Come to church for rest and refreshment for your soul. And make summer a time to grow your faith. Our church can help. See the events on the back. So, just things like that to get people, remind them to come. I've got some great flyers for parents to use after VBS. And I even have, and Please check this out. If you don't get anything else, download this. It's wonderful. It's a brisket recipe. It was from this wonderful Texas lady that I knew many years ago. Her name was Evie, and this was her barbecue brisket. Now, it takes a lot of work. You got to marinate, you got to do this, you got to do that, but it is one of the greatest brisket recipes. Now, not only can you serve that at a special event if you want to go to all the work, but also it makes I've done it up on a card like this. You just download it from the website. You can give it away and have on the back of it an invitation, reminders about your church. It's really funny. People do not throw away recipe cards. People still love recipes. So if you give this away, you never know when they might come back and visit your church. Summer can be great fun, but it can also be so much more. People may visit a fun event at your church who might not go to a regular Sunday service because a fun event is much less threatening. Summer events are a great opportunity to connect with unchurched people and perhaps start them on a path that will change their eternity. This book ends with a downloadable PDF of this quote. You can print it out, frame it up, use it as a motivator, not only for summer events, but for all the things that you do. This is by Amy Carmichael, where she said, "We have all of eternity to celebrate the victories, but only a few short hours before sunset to win them." What a wonderful reminder of the power of what you can do with the events that you put on in your church. Now, to get a copy of this book and also a copy of this video that you can download and show in your church, you wouldn't be violating any YouTube rules or anything like that, is to go to the Effective Church Communications Library. It's at www.payhip.com/ECC library. You can buy things on it individually or join as a subscription. I made it super cheap from every church. It's only $36 a year. And that enables you to download all the ebooks and training videos that are on it. And I'm continuously adding things to it. There's a lot of stuff on there already, but please do check this out because it is an absolutely fantastic resource to help you create communications that will have a lasting, eternal impact on the people in your church, in your community. And now may the Lord bless you and give you joy and strength as you serve Him today in church communications.